Alright guys, so I just finished welding up the downpipe for the twin turbo Juke. Still weird saying that. I'm going to do a dry fit on it right now to figure out where I need to put oxygen sensors. If you're wondering what this is, the downpipe just burned me pretty bad. So I'm going to bolt everything into our test car, make sure everything fits, figure out where the O2 sensors are going. I'm also going to figure out where the oil drain line needs to actually end up. Because the next step is to actually make the oil drain line for the car. It's going to be one welded piece between the two turbos. So that's next. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this all in. Bolt the turbos down with just 2 bolts. It's not really necessary to bolt all 4 of them in yet.
Oh no, what am I hitting?
So as you can see, the downpipe is in the bandsaw. I just spent, 4 days making it. And now I have to cut the bottom off because I'm so used to working on 2-wheel drives that I forgot the transfer case is right here. So I need to remake the whole thing from here down. So I have to cut it up, because that's what you do to your hardware, because you cut it up. Alright, so the downpipe didn't fit. That's an issue I'll address later. Done enough welding for today. So I wanted to test fit everything else. Now the plan is to use as many OEM components as we can. The reason for that is it's going to save a ton of money. We're going to use this OEM intercooler pipe here. It looks like it's sitting really high, but it's not. We're just going to have to cut it here so we can weld an appropriate pipe to get it over to a Y section over here. We'll obviously, cut all the tabs off of it and make it so it looks a lot nicer. On this side, we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to cut the flange off of the pipe and then rotate the pipe over so that it sits pretty much where it is right now. Again, we'll cut all the tabs off of it and try to make it look a little nicer. You'll notice these steel braided lines. So I got the oil feed line system all hooked up so I know everything fits. So we have a Y connector down near the OEM feed and that feeds to everything else. So we know that that is all set, so that's one less thing we have to do. The oxygen sensor obviously isn't going to be up here where it usually is in the factory, so it's going to actually be mounted on the Y pipe in the back. So I'm going to have to extend this harness right here probably about 2 feet. We'll run it down and along the brake lines around back behind the heat shield and plug it in back there. That will take care of that. Oil drain line, obviously we have to go 2 to 1. We're going to run the oil drain line so from this turbo back around behind the downpipe at a downward slope, obviously, and then into the drain line for this turbo over here, straight down. It doesn't need to drain a ton of oil. Again, there's a restrictor on here, so the oil flow isn't all that crazy. So we'll do one solid pipe over to there, and then a little rubber section between the factory drain and these drains so that there's room for this to expand and move around. As far as intakes go, that's going to be the hardest part. On this side, we don't have a lot of room to work with. There's going to be some massaging and hammering and some cutting on the actual car we're installing this on, and we'll have to make that intake as we go along there. So as you can see, we have the OEM intake for this turbo on over here. It fits, kind of. We're going to go ahead and cut the flange off of that and just rotate the pipe and re-weld it back together so that it fits a little bit better. We'll cap off the recirculation tube to make sure that that doesn't leak anything, as obviously we're going to be running a blow-off valve setup. The tube from the other turbo will come behind and just tee into this intake. It's not going to be the greatest flowing system, but it will work. Again, we're just trying to keep cost effectiveness in mind here. These turbos aren't going to be going too crazy because they're getting spooled up by this little engine, so maximum airflow isn't the biggest deal. We're going to adapt it to an in-gen short rim intake that's already on the car we're installing this on. And I mean, that's pretty much all that there is left to do. I know it sounds like a lot, but we're going to make as much as we can on this mock-up car, and then that way it just transfers over the other car. The only piece that we really need to make on the other car is the actual intake pipe from the other turbo over here, so that we figure out what we have to modify and things like that. But things are moving along very quickly. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to actually install this on the other car and get it running. As far as boost control systems go, for testing for a week or two to make sure that everything works, we're just going to run a line straight from the intercooler pipe to the wastegate actuator. These actuators are 10 psi, so we'll throw that on there and that'll kind of be our limit. We'll set up a street tune on it to make sure that everything is not going to blow up. And then we'll figure out a way to do a single boost controller for both turbos, or if we have to, 2 manual boost controllers with some sort of reference gauge for both intercooler pipes. We can make sure that they balance off. But that's how everything's going on the twin turbo build. Make sure you go check out our Patreon website that we just updated. It's patreon.com/fastreligion. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, put those below. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you go check out the new website we have up, thefastreligion.com. You can get all kinds of merch, decals, and you can also read more about the builds we're doing. Meantime, why don't you check out these other cool videos that we have going on, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.